Welcome back. Developing the industrial sector in Egypt is one of the political leadership's top priorities. Well, this is going to be achieved via a lot of homework which we should do. Via building new industrial zones, via installing and localizing many industries, via the complete or full partnership with the private sector in various domains, via benefiting from the veteran foreign expertise in each industry, all this and more. And to shed more light on this, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Engineer Mustafa Waly, our economic expert. A very good morning to you, Engineer Waly.
The same to you. Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
Sir, let's start immediately about developing industry. Developing the industrial sector, as I said, is one of our top priorities. But let's focus first on installing industries or localizing industries here in Egypt. In your opinion or in your vision, what are the most important industries which we should focus on installing them here in Egypt or to localize them?
First of all, the concept itself is very important concept, which actually should be one of our medium and long-term objectives and goals. Thank God we have been through it for quite some time now. I'm talking now about the concept of localization, which you you mentioned it in its right way. So, because localization is a direct manifestation that you have a certain development to a certain degree, that what makes you that you are depending on your own local everything, local material, local production, local expertise, local labor, and everything in the production process. That in itself will put you in a level of, a developed country, in the sense that you can manufacture or you can produce a product totally holding made in Egypt. Even with little things could be there imported, but the most important is increasing what we call the local percentage of any product. That is the objective, and it's a great objective, and we are working on it, and I think the Egyptian people started to feel the importance of it now.
Yes, but if you permit me to focus on the industries which we should have here in Egypt, as you've kindly mentioned, to be made in Egypt fully, or at least to have a great percentage of it or its component here in Egypt. Let me put my question in other words. The heavy industries, for example, which employ a large number of workers, of labor force, or we should focus according to the global crises on food industry, just to protect ourselves against any global crisis like the one which took place with the Russian-Ukrainian war. Is it the small and medium enterprises which should enter into this field? Which is which?
Well, there is large and sophisticated industries by nature, you know, because it has a lot of engineering behind, a lot of technical requirements, and a lot of high techniques in manufacturing, and the latest technology should be employed in order to have a world-class or a competitive product when it comes to the international market. However, this we can get to it, and not the whole world is getting to it easily or already have reached it. It's a trademark of the developed country, because where you have everything at the top. I'm talking now industry and technical issues. For example, the latest technologies in manufacturing is actually manufacturing the highest quality of finishing. I'm talking finishing now. The highest quality of dimension, the highest quality of performance of the item itself, of the product itself. But anyway, if we can match in any of these processes, I mean, if we can get directly and start to develop ourselves in, let's say, how to get the best local material, which is essential sometimes. That's the basic of the starting point of having a finished product. And later on, if you can employ, for example, a higher technology, advanced technology in manufacturing, that's another step, and so on and so on. And then you reach the whole matrix of production to the international or the world class or the international accepted top class specification. But anyway, as you see, it's diversified. It's big issues. It's multiple, and it relates directly to the type of the product and the environment and a lot of things. There are, and I'm giving you the full picture. If you get back again to your question, what you specifically you are talking about, which industry is it, small and medium, or this is your question, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in this point, let's be realistic. Whenever or whatever we have, some industry has some good reputation. I mean, in the international market at large. This could be our start to develop more and more to increase, first of all, the volume export, because it means export. If you are in the international market, it means export. Increasing the export by increasing the capacity of production and maintaining the highest quality of production. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of these things. We have a lot. Now, I can specify at least one thing. Imagine it could be the car manufacturing, where we had a very good local content. Only the engine in some cases. Only the engine. And I have been in this business, and I know that we have reached a very good content. And this was for now about 30 or 30-something years, let's say 40 years of developing and private sector development and private sector introduction, intervention in this business, and engaging with the world and engaging with the OEM, which is the description of original equipment manufacturers. That's it. But anyway, there are emerging markets and emerging items where we can compete. For example, the chips for computer and the chips, the electronic chips in general for a lot of for maybe the whole electronic application, starting from the mobile phone up to the TV, up to any other sophisticated item. We have the best silica. We have the right silica for this, the basic material. I don't want to what we say, go
No,
in
sir,
details,
please elaborate if you like. But I wanted, if you permit me, to focus on certain industries and to give, as you've kindly mentioned, some example. The ships, the electronic ships, for example, is a very good example. But let's move forward with, for example, the pharmaceutical industries, as we do have now the drugs city, which was inaugurated by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi 2 years ago. And if we are going to move to textile, to reinstating the weaving and textile industry in Al-Mahalla Al-Kubra, for example, or to have the city of furniture in Damietta. These are only a few examples of our ambitions, of our dreams, which are not dreams anymore. They are processes going on. How do you see such places, each city which is famous of an industry? Let's focus on having an industrial zone there and to know what we can achieve. If you please elaborate on that.
All right. You mentioned some very well known, I mean, they have the history, and you mentioned Mahal al-Kubra. I can mention even Chobra Khema. I can mention another places near Alexandria when it comes spinning and weaving. We face this setup, or not setup, the problems of the latest, newcomers in this business. Now we are recapping, and I'm following that there are a very big project. First of all, to maintain a very reliable infrastructure. I have to talk to you this way, because without it, we have to go and to make sure that we have the exact and the required infrastructure to sustain the superstructure for such industries. That's very important. What I mean by it, that you have first within the facilities, you must have enough power, especially electric power, the latest technology, and all the aggregates which will introduce you, which will bring you to a final product which can compete in the market. Yes, I am familiar with this latest drug city it was near Cairo. Oh my God, the name. But anyway, you know the name of the place of this drug city. It's in this area close to Cairo. Oh my God. But anyway, let's move to the other areas. If you look, for example, for the special economic zone in Sofna, and you can take up to Port Said. These areas, we have some very big names, big brands, even holding the name of their countries. We have the Chinese, we have the Russian, and we have the Polish also, and a lot. And the developers and those who are supplying or working on the infrastructure are Egyptian companies. We have it ready. People will be working there will be Egyptian, which means that the labor, the most important, is in manufacturing. And I agree with you that we should have these industrial complexes and specialized industrial complexes. We have it, we should increase it, but the most important thing, let's keep in mind that to have the infrastructure which will support such superstructure is very important. And that's our challenge, and thank God we so far are a real success story compared to many developing countries.
Yeah.
Was it okay? Was I clear in this point or not?
Yes, sure, sir. But let's talk also about the new horizons. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is keen to meet or to hold meetings with specialists in many fields which are a little bit brand new for us as the ordinary citizens. We don't know that much about animal feed production, about fertilizers, for example, and if these commodities are produced here in Egypt, or we do have big factories to produce such things to meet our local markets needs or no. Let's talk to the dairy products, for example, and he had very decisive instructions to take into consideration that we should not export cheese, for example. We should have the best quality in our local industries. We should produce or have the best quality to meet our local markets needs. How do you see these considerably new horizons or new industries and the keenness of our political leadership to instill them here in Egypt?
I will start with the last word of the keenness. The keenness is the slogan and the actual daily manifestation of realities on the ground, the keenness of our leadership. And I'm talking this out of my experience and out of the Egyptian people at large experience and witnessing. Let's hope that the future will be always to our side, where we have a safe and good times to work, normal time to work, to show what we are. So keenness, the last word, is the key for this. The keenness and the persistence that Egypt should have its right position among its people, among its neighbors, among the Middle East, among the whole area. Yes, I believe in this. I agree with you. So these new businesses, these new items, these new industries, we could be lucky enough that we will have the same starting point as many developing countries. We have the chance like anybody. So it depends, and it depends upon how much we are keen to get the best out of it and seize the chance and be ready to cope with it. The human element is the most important in this case, because we need expertise first, and then we proceed. I think I answered you, especially when it comes to the importance of such a new, let's say, horizons. It is actually.
And to, in the same context, to speak about the meetings of the president when he is in any external trip. And let's mention, for example, the latest trip of the president to Germany, where he met with the CEO of Larsen company, one of the most prestigious companies in both industries. This is, for example, something which I was myself introduced for the very first time too. And to know that we are going to import this industry and to instill this industry as part of the maritime industry to benefit from the foreign expertise. Here it's German, it can be Chinese, it can be of any other nationality, but this is the way. How do you see this win-win situation to benefit from the foreign experts and in the same time to let them invest here in Egypt, so it's, as I said, a win-win situation?
Exactly. Yeah, you mentioned that the key success factor, and that should be approved before starting any joint venture or any cooperation between different people, I mean from different nationalities, but they have the same interest to get success. Yes, win-win situation in this case, that these companies will have a success story out of their national, out of their original place, for example. So, for example, if we take example, I shouldn't say names, but now it's we were talking facts on the ground. Siemens has great success stories already there on the Egyptian land, and more are coming in the sector which is the most important sector of what we call the demand for a strong and reliable infrastructure. That's the energy. I'm giving you an example. In this energy also, we are pioneer in a very big sector of it, which is the renewable energy, especially when it comes to the solar energy. We have one of the largest projects in the world in Bimban, Aswan.
Yeah.
And you can go a lot like this going around, I mean, to get examples. And it's very important that the people there know, those especially, you know, the owners or the representatives of this big international manufacturer and big names, big brands in the world, will meet the president and his delegation to discuss real projects and the possibility of materializing some ideas on the Egyptian soil. And we see the results, and we will see more. That I'm very optimistic, actually, when it comes to this new horizon. That's good terminology, you know, because actually it opens the door for new expertise, for new education, for different application of certain, you know, classical items or products or material. Look how we will make use of our silica, you know. We already, for example, we already made use of our silica in a different way, you know, in a different way. But it was needed at that time. I'm talking about the mid of 70s and up. That's, for example, using and building the factory in Upper Egypt in Edfu, for example. This factory was to use the silica there to manufacture what we call ferrosilicon. This material, I don't want to technical, but this material is essential to have it and add it to the steel to give it the most important characteristic needed for a lot of important applications in life. It's the magnetism.
Yeah.
Our silica there was 98%. Yes.
Engineer Mustafa Waly, our economic expert, thank you very much for your input, sir, and have a very good day. Right after the short break, we are going to return back with more, so stay tuned.